Check, check, check. So, what's up, everybody? Big guy here. I want to talk today about confidence and overcoming fear. And these are two hugely important topics, I think, because this is something that we all struggle with, no matter where we are in life, no matter what position we're in life, no matter what our profession, our age. We all deal with those very particular insecurities. And it's something that I struggle with often, believe it or not. On confidence, it's not something that you can just say you have. In fact, it has nothing to do with words at all. In fact, in my opinion, confidence stems from action. It's doing the thing when you're actually afraid. And I've been a wrestler and a fighter most of my life. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles in a very, very tough neighborhood where there was murders and gunshots and violence on a pretty much daily basis. I mean, I really don't remember a night growing up where there wasn't some sort of shooting or sirens or helicopters or spotlights in my yard or in my neighborhood or around my area from police helicopters or, numerous times I've woken up and hear mamas crying and screaming because their babies have been killed. I've been shot at directly on a number of occasions. I mean, one of the earliest memories I have in my life is being caught up in a drive-by shooting. So I feel like I was born in fire. And I'll touch on that story sometime down the line, but I've always been kind of afraid, right? Or at least been aware of true fear. I've had people actively try to kill me, and I've had to survive, and I've had to have courage to face that, stand up and fight for my life on so many occasions, it's not even funny. And I think that is when you find true courage. It's when you're not strong. It's when you are weak. But the thing, whatever that may be, must be done. And so that is how you build confidence. It's not by telling everybody how confident you are. It's not even by telling yourself how confident you are. In fact, the times where I've had to be the most courageous, I wasn't telling myself anything. I was purely in the moment. And I just knew that making a decision was necessary in order for me to survive. And so I think that that's how you develop your confidence. You don't need to talk to yourself about anything. You can pep talk all you want. But ultimately, it's about standing upright. And like I say, putting one foot in front of the other and engaging the individual, engaging the situation, sticking your hand out, sticking your chest up confidently and very strongly shaking that person's hand and introducing yourself and stating your name with some conviction. That, in my opinion, requires the most courage, because a lot of people are so afraid to just even get off the couch and make that introduction or go talk to that person to secure that new job or advance their position, when the power, it's always within you. It is. It just takes action. And so how do you get courage? You don't get it by watching a bunch of YouTube videos. You don't get it by reading a bunch of books. That's fine. You can learn and get someone else's opinion on the matter and their experience. But still, that's their experience. You, as an individual, have to face the abyss. You got to dive in 100%. You got to be willing to put yourself out there. And that's why I tell people, okay, there's a couple of actions that you could take too. that can immediately boost your perceived confidence and give you courage. And that starts with standing upright and sticking your chin up and facing the world. A lot of people like to hunch over and slouch and, kind of shy away from things. They look down. They don't want to look you in the eye. You don't want to look them in the eye. But I think those simple acts of just standing upright with your chin up and chest out and braving the world, and in the military, we call that military bearing. Have some goddamn military bearing. That always rings in my head often, right? From people that I've had to deal with over the years in the military. I always appreciated that aspect of the game. And that's why I think I just love the fucking military so much, is because it forces you to be confident and courageous when you're not. And I've seen people falter too, under the seeming guise of them being ultimately courageous and the ultimate badass. That's usually the person that falls the most. The person that runs away from the fight before it even kicks off. They're freaking out, but, months and years in advance of doing anything real, they're walking around about all the schools that they've been to, about how badass they are in the military. And then when the shit hits the fan, you see them cowering in the corner, terrified, throwing papers around, wondering what the game plan is and all this shit. It's hilarious. I've had to see it myself. I've had to put hands on people myself for being fucking cowards. And I used to think that I was, not the most courageous person. I used to, never was I ever risk averse. But, I was, in the back of my mind, was like, shit, man, this is real. Things could go down. And so I better be on my P's and Q's and be on point. And that in itself, I think, requires a fuck ton of courage, right? To be aware of your mortality and your weaknesses too. And we all have them. We do. But the brave man, woman, person doesn't shy from that. They're aware of it. And so you do things to fix it. And so one, to immediately make yourself in the moment more courageous, or more courageous and brave, or whatever you want to call it, you must be willing to face the world head on. No matter what your perceived limitations are, no matter where you come from in life, no matter if you got a silver spoon or a plastic spoon, you're born with that, you have to face the fucking world, because it's going to come at you whether you want it to or not. I always tell people you got two options. You do that or you don't do that. Okay? We can reword that. You can sit there and face it, or you can lay down and die. And I think laying down and dying, or, turning your back to a dangerous situation or a scary situation that you don't want to face, that's the easiest route. It is. It's easy to die. It's easy to give up and quit. I tell people all the time, I've been homeless so many times. I've lived on the streets. And honestly, it was the least stressful, because you don't have any responsibility, really. You don't owe anything. You don't need anything. And I think that's why people choose sometimes to stay in a bad situation, because it doesn't require any effort to stay in a bad situation. You got to face it. You got to dig in. You got to be willing to get your ass kicked. You got to be willing to face your loved ones and your family and everyone around you when times get tough, to pull yourself out of a bad situation. And that is all action. You can pep talk yourself all you want, but when things go bad, the only thing that matters is movement forward into the fray, into, the fire, so to speak. And so that's why I say, don't be afraid when things are bad. That's your opportunity to grow and get stronger. So you stand up with your chin high and your chest out and be willing to face the world. And that's so difficult because you're vulnerable. People think that you're macho and tough when you've got your shoulders back and your chin up and your chest out. No, you are completely vulnerable to a fucking throat chop, a kick in the nuts, a punch in the chest, a punch in the face. And that's what you're going to get. But when you do that enough and you seek out advice from trusted and respectable individuals and you start applying the action, you get in the ring, you start sparring a little bit, and then you get in a couple of fights and you learn how to bob and weave. You learn how to get some footwork in action. You learn how to flank. You learn how to attack. You learn how to survive. And so that's why you got to be willing to throw yourself into the fray and not run away like a coward or, hunker down and, grab your knees and shove your face into your fucking knees and cry all the time, because that's not going to do anything for you, because the bad shit's happening regardless. And you know what? There's equally good shit happening too. And so that's why you learn how to bob and weave, so you don't have to take so many punches. And eventually you become a champion. You become a winner. And fear, we could bottle that up too. What is that? It's a survival mechanism, straight up. You're supposed to be afraid of shit. If you just stuck your hand in fire all the time, then you're a damn fool. You need to be afraid of that fire. You need to be aware of it. Don't be afraid of it. Respect it. That's why you must respect your enemy. Don't just think you got it. Don't just think you could beat that fool up, or, you can just pussyfoot through life because you're big or strong or rich or whatever. You're going to get your ass kicked. You need to respect the people. You need to respect the game of life. It's always out to get you, and it's out to test you. But really, it's just resistance. And when you embrace resistance, you get stronger, period. It's just like lifting weights. The weights don't change. It's still heavy. You become more efficient. You become stronger as you deal with it and face it and suck it up and put that shit on your back and squat it down, ass to the grass, and come right back up. And you feel that tension in your gut and you want to puke and you just want to quit. If you just stick with it, just keep at it, you will get stronger. And that's how life works too. It doesn't matter where you start. It's your willingness to be bold and be daring and to not quit, to not give up. You got to be willing to do the hard fucking thing, period. That is how you develop courage. That is how you overcome fear. That's how you become stronger. So knuckle up. Get out there and train. Build some literal physical armor around your bones. And make yourself more resilient. Face the hard fucking thing. Make the phone call. Sign the paperwork. Start the business. Push out the ad. Who cares what everyone's doing? That's always been my thing too. Right? Sometimes I worry about what is everyone else going to think? That's some bullshit. That's going to destroy you every time. Don't worry about what they think. People most of the time want to see you do, so that way you can give them the courage to execute and do what they want to do in life. So be a beacon of light, man. I'm telling you. Be the vessel for the message. Be courageous. Take the criticism. Take the shit talking. Because in the end, all it does is make you stronger anyway, and you just end up winning in the end when you do the hard thing, when you just do the thing. Believe in yourself. If your grand vision for yourself is good and it isn't about chasing simple pleasures in life, chasing women, dudes, sex, drugs, bullshit, money, then if the purpose is good, it's for a grander outcome, to help people, to be of service, to provide value, then you're supposed to fucking have some roadblocks, because it ain't easy. So embrace it. Embrace the suck, as we like to call it. Have some goddamn military bearing. And carry on, my friends. That's it. All right. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. Please feel free to subscribe if you like the content that I'm putting out. Please smash that like button. All right. I'm going full YouTube on you. Going full Benny. All right, please feel free to reach out, Guy Smith _IFBB Pro on Instagram. And you can also email me, guysmith.ibbpro@gmail. If you want coaching, if you just need some guidance along the way, please reach out to those channels. We can have a discussion, and I will be happy to help you. All right, I love you. God bless.